Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming, one and all. It's great to see you, and we're delighted to welcome you to this event, Tomorrow's Designers Designing Today. I'm John Ochsendorf, a professor here at MIT and founding director of the Morningside Academy for Design. And today we're partnering with the Boston Design Week as well as the MIT Museum to bring you an exciting program of 3 talented designers and their faculty supervisors. And then at the end of our event today, we're going to introduce a new cohort of design fellows for next year. So it's great to be here. It's great to have all of you here. And I'd just like to say a few words about Boston as a hub for design. Of course, we think about Boston as a hub in many ways. But Boston Design Week is really an opportunity to showcase design across all of greater Boston, across many different disciplines. And of course, at MIT, we see design in many corners of the Institute, but we don't often bring them together to learn from each other. And so that's really what we're doing here today. And in fact, the Morningside Academy for Design, or MAD, as we say, is barely a year old. It's a new entity at MIT, created to elevate design in education and research and outreach. And we were founded on Pi Day. We were announced to the world just last year. So it's just about 400 days ago that we were announced. And about 6 months ago, or 200 days ago, we had our first launch event here in this same space, The Power of Design. So for those of you who are interested in learning more about Morningside or about these previous programs, please go to design.mit.edu, which we've created as a place to bring together design across the Institute. What is MAD? What are we trying to achieve? Our goal really is to support students first and foremost. We want students to develop their talent as designers, to dream about becoming MAD Fellows. And our hope is that within a generation or two, the MAD Fellowship will be similar to other prestigious fellowships around the world, whether it's a Fulbright or a Marshall Scholarship, that people aspire to come to MIT to be a completely MAD Fellow. So that's our goal, that's our hope. But even greater than that, we hope MIT students from many different backgrounds and then beyond MIT develop design portfolios. They have an education that offers them open-ended projects to work on in a collaborative way that are directly serving people, serving society. And wouldn't it be great if any student of any major had a design portfolio that showcased the projects they worked on? And wouldn't that be more meaningful than a resume with a numerical GPA at the top that doesn't really tell you about what the person's achieved? So that's our hope. Student first. We've created a first-year learning community. We've created funds to support students and maker projects. And in all of this, we are creating a very big tent here at MIT, in Greater Boston, and around the world for design. So if you want to get involved, please reach out to us. There are many ways to be involved. And of course, 2 years from now, we will be opening a major new design hub on campus. And for a little more on that and more, and to introduce and kick off today's program, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome and introduce my colleague, Hashim Sarkis, who's the Dean of Architecture and Planning at MIT. He's internationally known as a cross-disciplinary designer, but he's also been a real champion for helping to create and spread design across all of MIT. So thank you one and all for being here, and please join me in welcoming Dean Hashim Sarkis.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks a lot, John, for this kind introduction. And thank you for including me in this second launch of the Academy here at the museum. The Academy was founded a year and a bit ago, so this is the second year. This is the second launch, and this is the second cohort of fellows. And if I can dwell a little bit more on the idea of the second, that would be my contribution perhaps to the discussion today, because it is very integral to the notion of what design is. It's very easy for any organization to have its first launch. it's very difficult for it to have its second launch or its second year. Many journals start at journal issue number 1 and they fold. Svafa, you know how many companies get their first funding and then they disappear. To make the second is hugely important. I think from here on, it'll be like drinking water. I think it was Domenico Fontana, a Renaissance scholar, who defined architecture as being the second building. By that, he meant that architecture is a conscious act. Design is a conscious act of reiterating. So there's no such thing as design. There's something called redesign. Design is a conscious act of reiteration and improvement rather than just launching an idea and getting it going. And I feel like we are here. The second cohort has the responsibility of thinking what the first cohort did and taking it further. And the third will be only a second to the second, and we can repeat that ad infinitum. So for everything you have achieved, I feel like today and this second launch, second cohort, is by far the most important milestone in the evolution of the Academy. So please go on, be seconds again and again and again. May you have a great afternoon. I would like to now introduce Svafa Grönfeldt, the Director of Design Accelerator, Design X at MIT, who has herself a lot of experiences in launching and relaunching, including DesX in its second iteration under the Academy.
Stepping up. Thank you, thank you. I have. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out and celebrating with these wonderful fellows. I can't wait to hear what you have been up to. Can't believe it's been a year. It feels like yesterday we were here, and these fellows are about 7 months into their project, and they're going to share some of that with you today. So the mission of the MIT or Morningside Academy for Design is, now I see if I can remember, is about transforming education, be a catalyst for innovation, and empower society. And you certainly have been living up to that mission. And I'm super excited to see your projects, because you've been creative, you've been daring, and more importantly, you take your, let's say, your passion for having an impact on our world really, really seriously. And that's where design innovation comes in. And what the Morningside Academy for Design is really aspiring to do is to be this force for creative optimism across campus. Really, really transdisciplinary approach to what we need to do to solve some of these huge problems we've kind of created for ourselves as humans. So you can see that in these fellows, because they come from across the institute. We have people coming from electrical engineering, architecture, and then we have also from CSAIL, wherever you are. We're going to hear their presentation shortly. So the way we think this is going to go today, we'll try to kind of follow this format, is that we will have the fellows come and present 10 minutes, followed by a conversation with their advisors, and then save your comments and thoughts, because you have a chance to talk to them once all of them have presented. But this is a big moment for all of us here. I have not seen these presentations before, and they have been working now for about 7 months. So without any further ado, I think I'll call the first group, and this I have to read. So the first group is Justin Bracer, and he is an aspiring architect and a designer working on his master's in architecture here at MIT. And he is interested in affordable housing and urban architectural gardens, which you will see more about. And he's joined with his wonderful advisor for this project, Professor Sheila Kennedy. She is an educator, she's an innovator, and she's an architect, and she's a professor of architecture here at MIT. So, Justin, are you ready? Do you want to go? Shall we give them a good hand? Get them going? Thank you.